Hey guys, before the video starts, I just want to let you guys know about some changes to the channel and upload schedule. First of all, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, YouTube has disabled community posts for some channels, mine being one of them. So now I will not be able to make any announcements on YouTube, so I will resort to Discord from now on. So if you guys would like to know my latest plans on videos, or just talk with other comrades, or just take votes in the next video, then join my Discord. The link will be in the description below. Second of all, I will be adjusting my upload schedule to twice per week to avoid spamming you guys with content. Now with that out of the way, let's get right into the video. Hello my friends, this is Pravda Gaming Academy here, and welcome back to another episode of In-Depth Aircraft Review, where today we are talking about yet another legendary fighter that came from the East. That's right my friends, today we are talking about the one and only MiG-23 Flogger. The Mikoyan-Gurevich MiG-23 is a variable geometry fighter aircraft designed by the Mikoyan-Gurevich Design Bureau in the Soviet Union. It's a third-generation jet fighter, the world's most produced variable geometry aircraft, along with similar Soviet fighters such as the Su-15 Flagin. It was one of the first Soviet fighters to field a look-down, shoot-down radar and one of the first to be armed with beyond visual range missiles. Production started in 1969 and reached large numbers with over 5,000 aircraft built. Today, the MiG-23 remains in limited service with some export customers. The basic design was also used as the basis for the Mikoyan-Gurevich MiG-27, a dedicated ground attack variant, among many minor changes. The MiG-27 replaced the MiG-23's nose-mounted radar system with an optical panel holding a laser designator and a TV camera. The MiG-23's predecessor, the MiG-21, was fast and agile but limited in its operational capabilities by its primitive radar, short range, and limited weapon load. Work began on a replacement for the MiG-21 in the early 1960s. The new aircraft was required to have better performance and range than the MiG-21, while carrying more capable avionics and weapons, including beyond visual range missiles. A major design consideration was takeoff and landing performance. The VVS demanded the new aircraft to have a much shorter takeoff run. Low-level speed handling was also to be improved over the MiG-21. Maneuverability was not an urgent requirement. This led Mikoyan-Gurevich to consider two options: lift jets to provide an additional lift component, and variable geometry wings, which has been developed by the Central Aero-Hydrodynamic Institute for both clean sheet aircraft design and adaptations of existing designs. The first option, for an aircraft fitted with lift jet, resulted in the 23-01, also known as the MiG-23 PD. The MiG-23 PD was a tail delta of similar layout to the smaller MiG-21, but with two lift jet in the fuselage. This first flew on the 3rd of April 1967, but it soon became apparent that this configuration was unsatisfactory, as the lift jet became useless dead weight once airborne. Work on the second strand of development was carried out in parallel by a team led by A.A. Andreev, with the MiG directed to build a variable geometry prototype, the 23-11 in 1965. The 23-11 featured a variable geometry wing which could be set to angles of 16, 45, and 72 degrees, and it was clearly more promising. The maiden flight of the 23-11 took place on the 10th of June 1967, flown by the famous MiG test pilot Alexander Vasilievich Fedotov. 6 more flight prototypes and 2 static test prototypes were prepared for further flight and system testing. All featured the Termansky 27-300 turbojet engine with a thrust of 77 newtons. The order to start series production of the MiG-23 was given in December of 1967. The first production MiG-23S took to the air on the 21st of May 1969, with Fedotov at the controls. The MiG-23's armament evolved as the type's avionics were upgraded and new variants were deployed. The earliest version, which was equipped with the MiG-21's fire control system, were limited to firing variants of the R-3 and K-13 missiles. The R-60 replaced the R-3s during the 1970s. And from the MiG-23M onward, the BVR, Beyond Visual Range Missiles, R-23 and R-24s was carried. The MiG-23 MLD is capable of firing the R-73s. But this missile was not exported until the MiG-29 was released for exports. The helmet-mounted sight associated with the R-73 missile was fitted on the MiG-23 MLDG and other experimental MiG-23 MLD subvariants. That never entered production as had been originally planned. The reason was that these MiG-23 MLD subvariants has less priority than ongoing MiG-29 program, and the Mikoyan Bureau therefore decided to concentrate all their effort on the MiG-29 program and halted further work on the MiG-23. Nevertheless, a helmet-mounted sight is now offered as a part of the MiG-23-98 upgrades. There were reports of the MiG-23 MLD being capable of firing the R-27 beyond experimental tests. However, it only seems that Angola's MiG-23-98s are capable of doing so. A MiG-23 was used to test and fire the R-27, R-73, and R-77 air-to-air missiles during their early flights and fire trials. Ground attack armaments include a 57mm rocket pod, general-purpose bombs up to 500 kg in size, gun pods, and a Kh-23 radio-guided missiles. Up to 4 external fuel tanks could also be carried. Because of the MiG-23's distinctive appearance with the large air intakes on both sides of the fuselage, the aircraft was nicknamed the Cheburashka by some Soviet pilots after a popular Russian cartoon character representing a fictional animal with big ears. The nickname did not stick and was later firmly assigned to the Antonov AN-72 and 74, although to this day it is sometimes applied to different aircraft with similar exterior features, including the United States Air Force A-10 Thunderbolt II. The aircraft was not used in large number by non-Soviet air force of the Warsaw Pact as originally envisioned. When the MiG-23s was initially deployed, they were considered elites of the Eastern Bloc Air Force. However, very quickly the disadvantage became evident, and the MiG-23 did not replace the MiG-21 as initially intended. The aircraft had some deficiency that limited its operational serviceability, and its hourly operating cost was thus higher than the MiG-21s. The Eastern Bloc Air Force used their MiG-23s to replace the older MiG-17 and MiG-19 still in service. By 1990, over 1,500 MiG-23s of different models were in service with the Soviet Air Force and the Soviet Air Defense Force. With the dissolution of the Soviet Union, the new Russian Air Force began to cut back on its fighter force, and it was decided the single-engine MiG-23S and MiG-27s were to be retired to operational storage. The last model to serve was the MiG-23P air defense variant, and it was retired on the 1st of May 1998. The MiG-23s also saw combat in the Syrian Civil War when a former Syrian Air Force MiG-23 MS became iconic of the siege of Abu al-Dur Air Base on the 7th of March 2012. Syrian rebels used the 9K-115-2 Metis-M anti-tank guided missile to hit the derelict MiG. Later, in March 2013, they entered the airbase, showing the worn-out and damaged MiG. Finally, in 2013, the Syrian Air Force bombed it completely to destroy the wreck. The MiG-23 also took part in the Iran and Iraq War, and it was used in both air-to-air and air-to-ground roles. The reports about performance in air combat are mixed. Some authors claim that Iraqi MiG-23s had some victories and several losses against Iranian F-14s, F-5s, and F-4s. The MiG-23 proved to be a great fighter and fighter bombers for its time, but unfortunately the MiG-23 was shown to be obsolete against Western fighters in the early and mid-1970s. By then, the Mikoyan Design Bureau has already focused on developing the newer MiG-29 fighters. Anyways, comrades, I hope you all have enjoyed this video and learned something from it. If you have, be sure to like and subscribe and comment below. Weekly votes for the next aircraft will take place in my Discord server, so if you would like to participate in the votes, be sure to join my Discord. The link will be in the description below. And I will see you guys next time.